Hello.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for upNXT PostWrestling.com, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and of course,
YouTube.com/postwrestling. Hello to our very patient YouTube room. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hello, everybody. Yes, we go live. We are Braden and Davie from Poisonrana. We go live every Tuesday night to talk about NXT because you can't talk about NXT without your NXT friends. And we'll always be your NXT friends until OBS decides to crap out on Davie right before we go, right as we go live.
It was
not once, not twice, but 3 times.
It was weird. It was whenever we'd change scenes, it would then just freeze. So
we're just scene changers. So shout out to one of the OGs here, Mr. the El Capitan, Wei Ting, the cowboy, swinging in to set up a StreamYard for us here. So we are live because of Wei. So
yes, thank you, Wei.
We're here. We're finally here. So maybe you're listening to this on a podcast, and that's okay too. I hope you're doing well wherever you may be. Maybe you're on a walk, you're driving somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe you were staying up frantically till 10:15 to watch us live, and
what happened?
And you've thrown in the towel, and you're finding us again in the morning. Yeah. Whatever, but.
Welcome to the show. We're going to talk about some NXT here tonight. I will say we've recorded a bunch of shows in the past little while. I will quickly throw some plugs out because last Sunday on our Poisonrana show, we had Benno from Grapple join us to chat all about the tragic passing of Jay Briscoe, but we celebrated the way we know how and talk about some great memories. And Benno, being the Ring of Honor expert, came on and we had a fantastic chat all about that. But then we talked about some other stuff as well, all the hot topics and Rumble predictions and all that stuff. So that was out Sunday on our free feed on Poisonrana. So go hit subscribe and all that stuff. But then we also recorded some shows with another friend over on our Patreon with WH Park.
We did. Yeah, we did. We're in the Great Muta / KG Muto retirement tour at the moment.
Bye-bye Muta.
Bye-bye Muta. So we had WH on to talk to do a best match ever, specifically about the Great Mutas matches.
That's right. We learn about the Muta scale. We rate things on a Muta scale. It gets violent. It gets bloody. It was fantastic. We learn about the Mist as well, but that was fun. WH definitely schooling us in some Japanese wrestling. I always have a fun time. So that was a show that we did last week over on our Patreon. But go check us out, all our socials. It's only $5 on our Patreon to get access to almost 500 podcasts on there now. But go check us out because we do a lot. We will be going live also this Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. over on our YouTube, Poisonrana, to talk all about the Rumble the day after. So
absolutely,
definitely come hang out next Sunday.
Yeah. So as well as subscribing to Post Wrestling, make sure you hit that subscribe button on Poisonrana Pod on YouTube. Because we've been really enjoying these Sunday shows we've been doing, kind of being able to talk about everything in the world of wrestling and having guests on to talk to and stuff as well. And going to have a lot to talk about this weekend with the Rumble. Which,
that's right.
It's the Rumble. I always get excited for the Rumble.
Yeah, it's the one where even non-wrestling fans are interested in watching, as we're kind of learning. Like a few of our friends are like, "Oh, can we come? Can I bring a +1?" And we're like, "Oh man, we're gonna have a lot of people watching Rumble." And I'm not one to ever really gamble, but gambling on the Rumble is a lot of fun. I mean, I would never say do that. That would be really bad, but you know what I mean.
No, gamble on what you want. Just do it responsibly.
It's a lot of fun to do that. Just drawing numbers out of a hat. Yeah, life could be so simple. But yeah, I'm excited about the Rumble. We gave some Rumble predictions, but I mean, with them announcing Cody and kind of, are we assuming that it's just WWE going the Cody all the way? Because now there's stuff with Sami Zayn and could The Rock show up? It feels like an interesting Rumble time, like a good one this year.
It does, yeah. I think announcing Cody, you would hope that there's maybe some other surprises up their sleeves.
Yeah, I want to see Zack Ryder.
I could totally see that happening. Absolutely.
Just want to hear that theme one more time.
I'm super excited. I am still leaning towards Cody to win it. Yeah. I do think it kind of makes the most sense. Very interested in what happens with Sami in this situation. I think if he is going to be in the Rumble, he's kind of got to be in there early. Because the later he's in it, the more you risk people turning on Cody.
Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, so you got to be smart with how you do it. Yeah. I could still possibly see it being Cody and Seth as the last two.
Okay.
But do we get a Swerve? Do we get a return? Do we get a Rock? Do we get an Austin?
Yeah, it'd be pretty crazy. Some of those options.
We get a Shane.
Definitely not. They can't afford him at that rate from last year.
Yeah, because he'll want more this year, right?
Yeah, exactly. He'll want double.
A mil.
Yeah, maybe Steph in the women's rumble.
Steph in the women's.
Mandy
sure.
Rose, I think we were talking about. Yeah, but I'm excited about the rumble. We'll chat all about it next Sunday on our YouTube channel and our podcast feed. So go check us out. I know we're kind of going to jump into NXT. I did watch Raw. This was the first Raw I've watched in so long that I swear to you, I did not know who the commentator was until finally Jerry Lawler shows up and says, "Who are you again?" And then the guy says, "Yeah, I'm Kevin Patrick."
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, man, I've definitely, we went to that Raw a few months ago with Pollock in Toronto. And man, that had to be the most fun Raw I've been to live. But then anytime I've dipped back into watching it, it's been the same old thing. And I did kind of feel that way last night. I made it a thing. Me and a buddy hung out and we said, wow, Raw 30, why not? And there was some good stuff in it, but at the same time, why is Johnny Gargano playing poker? Not even playing poker.
Why is anyone playing poker?
Why are they always playing poker?
I just imagine, okay, you're invited to your, I don't know, I went to drama school. You're invited to see the third year production. You're going back to your old school to hang out and see some old friends. Shall we fuck off seeing the show and just play cards in the back?
Cards, gamble?
Yeah.
It's really weird that that's such a crutch they keep going back
always go to that.
It felt weird when that man, I was looking for more wrestling and a classic Raw match that I didn't really feel. We didn't even get that steel cage match. So I just felt there was some funny things. Kurt Angle
in DX.
Shades of when he was in Shield. I definitely think they were going.
He did the pose before he got punched. Looking.
He was doing that. He was doing all of them. Yeah, there was secret nuggets in there for sure.
No, that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I think what was better, I recently rewatched because I think Dax Harwood retweeted it where DX just beat the shit out of the Revival.
Right.
And when I saw Imperium in the ring with DX, I was like, oh no, they're not going to do it.
No, they wouldn't do that.
But so I was quite pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed the whole Bloodline stuff at the beginning and the tag match. I thought was pretty fun.
Yeah, Jey Uso just barely missed it for an Oscar nomination for that acting saving
next year, maybe next year.
Yeah, because that was good. I felt like it was so long. I was like, man, this segment's going on and on. But then it was the setup for what was to come. So they did do a good job on that. And I will, with no shame, say I popped very hard for American Badass Undertaker. I don't know if I don't think I'm on my own there. I don't care about Kid Rock, The Undertaker, whatever. I loved it. It was so good.
I mean, yeah, it was. That was actually good nostalgia.
Yeah.
Because how many times have we gone back to the well with all of these legends, all of the, as we said, the tropes of the poker and stuff. Having him come out to American Badass again was pretty fun. Even though not quite whizzing down on the Harley like he used to.
Yeah.
I tweeted out yesterday that reminds me more like Cora Jade trying to ride a skateboard. It was very he basically walked it to the ring. I was like, man, thinking those manias just bombing it down that ramp.
I don't think he rides as much now. He's a family man now. Drinks wine now.
Maybe.
Bouquet.
What did he whisper to Bray?
The bouquet. I don't know. What did he whisper?
Yeah.
No one's ever going to believe you.
You got a match in Mania?
I saw a lot of great memes stemming from that interaction, but yeah. Or was it,
Limp Bizkit or Kid Rock, though? Rollin' or American Badass?
See, the reason I popped for American Badass, because they have not used that for any thing in a long time. So it's definitely a one-time thing that they were like, oh, let's get it. Definitely Triple H sees what Tony does with his money once in a while. So,
yeah.
I bet we hear some Leonard Skinner tomorrow on Dynamite. I bet that's been the thing in wrestling now. Why don't we just buy licenses for these songs? I would have to go with Roland though. Sorry.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I'm not even going to throw shade because you got to give shout out to the other one. What's the other
Jim
one?
Johnson one?
You're gonna pay. I love that one too, man.
It's okay. It's no Roland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still good. So Raw still made me go, wow, I probably won't watch for another 5 years, but I still enjoyed some of the stuff. Some of the nostalgia definitely hit for me that I was like, okay, you did deliver on that, but still the wrestling just feels so just not what it kind of used to be, because we were chatting like 30 years of Raw.
I don't think it's ever been about the wrestling though. Like we're all talking about
know.
the moments with like you're looking back at Raw.
Yeah.
Like what are the things that stick out? It's the beer trucks. It's the yes movement. It's there have been some good matches, but it's never been so much about that.
I felt like it felt like the last time they did one of these specials and the time before when they did specials. It just feels like Legends Night.
They repeat it all the time.
That's what I mean. It feels so not as special, even though it kind of feels like it should have been treated as one of the biggest ones because it's like 30 years of this is pretty crazy. But so I watched Raw. What else is going on? Okada got kicked in the head. He's going to fight someone. We'll probably talk about that on Sunday as well.
Kiyomiya.
That was pretty cool.
I mean, you kind of mentioned it, Leonard Skinner, but having Mark Briscoe is going to be wrestling tomorrow.
Holy
on
crap,
Dynamite.
man! This is insane. Amazing.
Looks like WBD kind of changed their tune, and they're allowing some sort of Jay Briscoe tribute tomorrow, and it's going to be Jay Lethal versus Mark Briscoe on the day of what would have been Jay Briscoe's 39th birthday. So
just crazy.
That's pretty awesome, and it's going to be like hard one to watch for sure. Like absolutely,
man. I don't know how I don't know how he would be able to do that. Like just as fans, we're all like super bummed out, but man, I definitely can't wait to watch that. So that'll be interesting to see that. I'm trying to think of other stuff that we have going on. We obviously cover NXT, but since the pandemic kind of everything's opened up and we've been being able to travel and go to wrestling shows again, I feel like the scene where we live, the Toronto indie scene, is kind of getting a bit of a bigger boost as of late, and it's becoming kind of what it once was. And we've been going to some shows as of late, and going forward, we're going to go to some more indie shows. So I'd welcome anyone in the GTA Toronto area the next little while to catch us at some shows. We've been lately going to Demand Lucha. We will be going to their next show, February 16th. I could not sing the praises of Demand Lucha and how much fun we have. We've run into a bunch of listeners now going to these shows as well.
And I think a bunch of us are going to the next
we
one.
got WH Park coming to see some Lucha. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Got Smash this weekend.
Yes.
Day of the Rumble.
Yeah. I want to shout out Smash Wrestling because we're going to be going. We used to go to their shows a lot, and they're doing a show about a minute walk from our condo in Toronto. So we're going to go on Saturday. And to kind of help promote that, tomorrow at some point, we're going to be interviewing the Smash Wrestling champion, Kevin Bennett. Toronto fans, anyone in the Buffalo Kids era that you might remember this guy. I mean, he's their champion, but this guy's he hasn't been getting the shine that I think as the indie scenes, like I said, kind of coming back. Smash Wrestling was taping for what I think was supposed to be like the WWE network, and it seems like WWE's not going to be doing that anymore. So I'm kind of interested to see where Smash can go forward and see what they will do without that kind of stuff. And I think they're gonna do really good stuff because this Saturday has a stacked card. But Kevin Bennett is almost like the Acclaimed because he raps, and he got his gimmick stolen from. When I saw the Acclaimed, I thought, oh man, this guy's been doing that for a long time. But we're going to chat with him tomorrow and chat a bit about some wrestling, his story, the Buffalo Kids, of course, and maybe even some hip hop and stuff. So that'll be out on our Poisonrana feed. But I think Way might even put it up on the Post Wrestling feed as well. So,
awesome.
But we will be at Smash on Saturday.
Pre-Rumble.
Yeah, it's a
lot of wrestling.
Yeah, so come hang out on Saturday if you're in the Toronto area. There's going to be some great action, including Drago's on the card. So I'm that. There you go. That says enough. So yeah, we want to be doing more indie wrestler kind of spotlights going forward, and it's something we want to do. So hope you guys tune in. Check us out on Poisonrana.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Should we talk about some?
I think it's time to get into a bit of NXT.
We can talk about some NXT from January 24th, 2023. We start off with this video that just kind of went viral. This whole conspiracy, or not really conspiracy. That's not the right word, but background videos that are all compiled. This saga of Grayson Waller walking into the gym while Braun Breaker's in the gym at the PC and causing chaos, which we've talked about NXT Anonymous and how they love to incorporate the TikTok videos and background fights. And this is exactly that. They've compiled all of them to kind of show you the timeline. It's like a 2020 of a true crime investigation, except it's just Grayson Waller walking in.
I think it is something that, because wrestling is, like touring all the time, and they're at home. The fact that we see their show every Tuesday, but the PC, this is where they are at every day. I think it is kind of cool that you can do these things, because I've always said, why are they waiting till next week to get their own back on this guy? Right. Like, go and fucking beat him up at work or whatever. I mean, and the fact that they're all meeting up every day, these encounters should be happening during the week.
Yeah, like NXT always did do that. I'm thinking back to when Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly had their feud, and they knew where the story was they knew where each other were all the time. Yeah, they all live near each other because it's NXT, so it does make sense. Grayson Waller's wearing a T-shirt that says "Braun Breaker is my bitch." Don't know if that one will be available on WWE Shop, but let him know if you want one. So he walks in, and right away, this guy makes me laugh because Grayson Waller walks into the PC. And Grayson Waller says something, but it's censored. And I'm pretty sure he's Australian, so I could think of a word he was saying, and it wasn't mate.
Very likely, yeah. Yeah.
He then goes in there and he throws a water bottle at Braun Breaker, which clearly pisses him off, and he loses his shit. And there's this like huge pull apart, and everyone separates them from fighting. And Braun says he's gonna kill this guy. So it's basically Waller trying to prove Braun's a hothead has been this storyline.
Yeah, I kind of like how this Waller character as well, since the kind of the incident with the plate and the spear, like the Goldberg Brett spot, and the kind of rope breaking in that match, he's kind of buying into his own hype even more. Like, he's not being the chicken shit. He's still being a bit of a shit, but he's now more like, oh, I can actually, he's starting to believe that, oh, I can actually beat this guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm definitely enjoying this feud more than I thought I would. And it's definitely one of the more interesting Braun feuds for me.
Yeah. Like, the last feud for Braun wasn't great. We've talked about the Joe Gacy feud last year. Like, a lot of Braun's feuds are not that good. So this one probably stands out. Grayson Waller is this like over the top heel. So it definitely works.
And he's
this.
Getting you to that point where you want to see him trapped in the cage and just being beaten up by this guy.
Grayson Waller wasn't one of my favorites, but as soon as he did a shoey, and now he possibly said one of my favorite words, like, he can do no wrong.
He's stepping up.
He also what he wears later.
I mean, he looked good today.
I might be becoming a big Grayson Waller fan. What's going on?
What's happening?
The world is
watching Raw.
What's happening to me? We start off with Vic Joseph and Booker T just randomly at the bottom of the ramp to kick off the show. Hartwell interrupts them and makes her entrance for her first match, and then gives a big thumbs up and grabs their mic and says, I'm going to give Tiffany Stratton a big ass whooping. So they're like, okay. And then NXT kicks off with Indi Hartwell versus Tiffany Stratton. This is her big return since the New Year's Evil ball dropped. And she's returned. She looks like a superstar here. She looks different.
She does. She's had some time off.
Yeah. Well, she goes face to face with Indi, and Indi starts to just beat her up even before her entrance can finish here. But Tiff fights back and starts putting the boots to Indi and hits this pretty impressive like springboard tope senton. Tiff eventually locks in one of her favorite moves. We've seen her do this before. The money clip, because she knows she's just like Okada. She then does this like double handspring back elbow, just like the Great Muta. She must be a huge Japanese wrestling fan.
That's what she's been doing since she's been away.
She eventually runs into this huge spine buster from Indi, but she kicks out at 2. She starts to then sell her knee is injured, so the ref checks on her and tells Indi to back up. They then call for a doctor to come into the ring to check it out, but it's all a fake out, and Tiff nails Indi and then hits
with, a really big elbow to the face.
She's like I said, she's been watching her strong style. She hits a huge, was this You Can't Escape into almost Great Muta like Ultimo Dragon like top rope moonsault.
Really nice moonsault. Got some height on it.
To pick up the win. I'm sorry, Indi Hartwell. We still love you, but you were the sacrifice here for Tiffany Stratton to just showing off. That final sequence was pretty sweet. And that moonsault was legit picture perfect. I'm I'm tired of I'm injured, so we better fake that I'm injured to
it doesn't make sense to me. The sport, the idea is to hurt the other person until they give up or you pin their shoulders to the mat. And then as soon as someone is hurt, it's like you're stopping the match. I only want to see that when it's legit, when a doctor is actually checking on someone.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me, and it's overdone now at this point. Apart from that, I thought the match was pretty good, and I didn't think there was any ring rust really on Tiffany Stratton, who, considering before this break, she hasn't been doing this long anyway. I'm really impressed. I think she's definitely got a star presence about her. And yeah, some of those moves, like she's not afraid to kind of get a bit vicious and get a bit joking, but like strong style. Yeah, she was throwing in those elbows and stuff, and that moonsault looked great. Indi, it's still just floating around, kind of not doing anything. Like, I'd say call her up, but I just don't think they've got anything. She just doesn't seem to have a personality anymore, really.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the character
I don't know. Like, if you were to move her up, I don't know what you'd be doing with her right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wonder. But Tiffany, I see a high ceiling for her for sure.
Yeah, Tiffany Stratton will be women's champ like this year, right? Like, it has to be. I'd probably say the one to take it off Roxanne. I know probably we're going to Roxanne Cora for Stand and Deliver WrestleMania time, but the real story this year will be when Tiffany Stratton gets a hold of this title. And yeah, she's definitely improved. This is her first match back, like looking this clean after all that time. And yeah, Tiffany Stratton makes it happen, as we say here. And she looking great. Put her as WWE Women's Champ at this point. Put her on the main roster. Book it. We go to Mackenzie Mitchell backstage with JC Jane, and Mackenzie says, "You and your partner," and she cuts her off and says, "Gigi is not my partner. Toxic attraction is done." And she says that I'm the only reason why we were holding on to gold for so long. And finally, I've realized that Gigi has been holding me down. So we're going to see a championship summit later tonight. But JC saying we're done.
Yeah, which I think kind of signaled to me the end a little bit, because you thought they had their breakup during the Battle Royal when they were the last two, and then they were very much on the same team last week. So this was a real 180 for her to just be kind of talking down about her former partner. So I kind of smelt something going on here.
We didn't need to be Apollo Crews to see where this was going, if you know what I mean. We go to a video for the Diamond Mine, and it says this was earlier this week, and we see Ivy Nile bringing in some friends to train with Diamond Mine, and it's Drew Gulak and Hank Walker. So there's like two different gyms kind of
rolling
in here. So like Limp Bizkit. So we see Gulak is like stretching some people, and then he starts to spar with Julius Creed when eventually they're kind of going at it, and even when Julius kind of sweep the leg, and Gulak just gets upset and kind of explodes on him and yells at him and says, "Yeah, you want to do that? I come in here and you want to get disrespectful? How about we have a match this week on NXT," which then we see is later tonight, meaning the Creeds versus Gulak and Walker.
Yeah, like we've started getting Julius is just this real hothead now.
Yeah.
Like everything just sets him off, and he
So
wants to
angry.
fight, and Ivy's there trying to calm him down. But cool. Like we haven't seen a great deal of Gulak since he's come back to NXT in ring wise, and him mixing up with the Creeds sounded pretty interesting to me.
We go to Andre Chase, Thea Hale, and Duke Hudson, Chase University, and it's an award ceremony. And we see that the ring is decked out, and there's a podium, and Andre Chase is dressed like the Pope.
Yeah, had his like graduation gear on.
He's got his graduation gown and hat thing on here. Yeah. He says that he's here to give someone special this award, and then he starts to swear, but it's like not one of his backstage segments. So like our version, at least watching, is like bleeped out when the crowd then turn on him for a second and say, "That's not PG." And he kind of goes, you're kind of right. Sorry. He then continues and says, "Thea, you've proved from time and time that you you're stepping up here and you've got your first win, so we're gonna give you this plaque. And she she's on the podium and she says, "I love you all so much," when she's interrupted by JD McDonagh, who comes out to squash this university party. He says that what's going on in NXT? Now we're giving out participation awards. Come on. He then says, "Thea, you've been hanging out with losers, therefore you're a loser." Yeah, in fact, you all are losers. And not only you, but everyone else here in attendance. So he's saying anyone who watches NXT
is a loser.
That's right. He then says that he noticed that that he didn't say Duke Hudson in the earlier promo. And JD now is kind of trying to cause tension between Duke Hudson and Chase. Thea tries to snap at him, but Chase holds her back, and JD says, "Control your dog," and says, "I'm dressed for a fight, and Chase, you're dressed like a moron." So Chase rips off his robe, revealing his sweater, and says, "I'll fight you, and I'll show you a teachable moment."
Rip off my non-wrestling gear to reveal my non-wrestling gear.
Says, "I'll show you a teachable moment." Nails him in the head, and we go to break. As they say, this match will come back.
He kind of had it wasn't quite, I don't get hyped, I stay hyped, but it was, and if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
It's a good one. You should put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
That he eventually rips off.
Stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
When we come back, this match is taking place, and JD McDonagh is just beating down on Andre Chase. He eventually fights back, hits his signature side Russian leg sweep that he does so well.
Beautiful.
He does the "give me a C" thing, and then hits a side effect for a near fall. JD comes back, and there's like near falls and victory rolls. There's the devil inside that's countered with this like pop-up knee, but then it's like another counter while he's dazed with a headbutt from JD. I thought they had really great back and forth segments here, including when JD goes for a second time for the devil inside, and Chase counters it into a Canadian destroyer, but JD gets his foot on the rope, so it's only a 2 count. Duke Hudson, who's ringside, just decides to walk out. He just walks and leaves, meaning Chase is a little confused here, and he turns around and then he's hit with the devil inside by JD for the 1, 2, 3. And yeah, we're a little shocked on why Duke walked out.
Yeah, once again, I think Chase proving like he's pretty solid in the ring, and I thought him and McDonagh had a pretty good match here, but more focused on the Chase U drama. These segments always seem to work for me. I thought the awards thing was pretty funny, and the is he isn't he with Duke the whole time, but did cost him the match pretty much. I thought Chase could have had him here.
Yeah, there was. We always say this, like Chase, he's the university professor, but this like it's so weird because his wrestling is good. When he wrestles and has a match with someone like JD, who's great. It shows. Like, sorry, he hit a Canadian destroyer. Not saying that makes you a great wrestler, but it looked great. You don't usually see that move in WWE to begin with, but it does look cool when the guy counters that move. We've seen A-Kid do it, or Axiom do it a bunch.
From the arm pull,
the
right?
pull, right?
Wrist control.
Looks cool. I thought there was some great little wrestling match here between these two, and furthers the story of Chase University. We go to Kiana James and G backstage. That's right. It's a G sighting. Shout out G. And Kiana's like, "Thanks, G, go do some business work," and then starts talking to Fallon and Brooks and Jensen and says that she's ready for their match up next, and that Brooks and Jensen can be watching ringside with
kind of, they're all on the same page again at the moment, so we think.
Yeah. Well, when we go to commercial break, which I'm pretty sure we had a count of 3 John Cena commercials in a row, which is really rare to have 3 in a row. We see Tatum, Paxley, and Ivy Niles versus Fallon, Henley, and Kiana James here. We get some offense from, I wrote Tatum and Tatum Paxley, but Tatum and Ivy. Ivy's in there with Fallon and then eventually tags in Tatum, who hits this pretty impressive springboard dropkick into the ring. But then when Kiana and Fallon gain control again, they're hitting some pretty impressive tag team style moves here. Like one kicks the person side of the head here, the other's like running the ropes, and it was pretty impressive. And then they kind of look at each other like, "Hey, did we just do that?
You and I,
yeah." There's an abdominal stretch on Tatum, but she eventually gets out of that and tags in Ivy, who runs in, but eventually eats a boot from Fallon. Kiana then is in and sweeps the leg of Ivy, and then as she does that, she's holding down, like she sweeps the leg when the ref doesn't see, when Fallon's the legal person, and then hits the Shining Wizard. And when Tatum tries to go in to stop the pin, she then holds her, and the ref didn't see that either. But Briggs was watching and was kind of like, "Hey, what are you being cheeky for?" However, they won the match, and as Fallon, Kiana, and Jensen are celebrating, Briggs is like, I don't know about that. And then they go, "Yeah, but we won." And
which was similar last week when they formed the team. Like Briggs was just in the corner, kind of. And I feel he's a bit mad that they're not focusing on other stuff. Him and Brooks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I do think we've got a few of the same kind of stories going on with Fallon and Kiana here. Kiana, is she legit? Is she really using Brooks?
Yeah.
And we've got the same thing with Duke going on. And what there was another one, I'm pretty sure.
It's all hot in wrestling right now.
Yeah, it's a bit repetitive, but I don't mind building up more tag teams for this women's division, because I would like to see us get to a point where you're having, like we've seen in the men's division over the years, where you've had like your American Alphas move up, your Revivals moved up, and these are all teams put together in NXT. I think we need to see more like actual legit tag teams moving up to the main roster to actually make these titles mean something, because it's a lot of just thrown together people. So I'd like to see them kind of stick these two together, and same with Ivy and Tatum, kind of keep them for a while.
But I liked the team of Kiana and Fallon. I think having this, like, I see it eventually being a turn where something happens. Maybe they split, who knows? But right now, the unit is kind of, it looks like a complete like thing now. They got Kiana. We even have G in there. This is a whole happy family.
Yeah.
Really, I like it. And it only dawned, have you ever heard the show Dynasty?
Yeah.
There's a character in it named Fallon who rides horses. I was like, she had to have gotten that name from there, right? Okay, just check. I've never gotten any fact checks on that, but I'll have to ask her that one day. We go to the New Day. We see Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston backstage, and they're pretty much doing what we do right before every show. They just start singing wrestling themes.
They're going through every single Randy Orton theme, weren't they?
They said, "Hey." And then if you kind of understood what they were talking about under their breath, they were talking about how, remember when he shaved his head and then he looked like a scary naked cat? He looked terrifying. And then they're interrupted.
Randy.
Bro, I don't know anyone scarier than that era.
He looked like a worm, didn't he? Like a scary worm.
Like, don't at me, but like, name a scarier heel than that era of Randy Orton. When Randy Orton punted Vince McMahon in the head, now he's not such a bad guy, I guess. Maybe I retract my statement. When he kissed Steph in front of Triple H, who was handcuffed to the ropes, that era of Randy Orton, that's psychopath. When he's going in that dark place, Randy Orton.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of Randy.
Terrifying.
It's the lack. It's just the lack of any hair. Like, we've seen him with the shaved head, but with the beard, or the hair with the clean shave.
Does he shave his eyebrows too?
But it's very odd.
Yeah, Randy was like serial killer looks vibes for sure. He looks so terrifying. He did look like a snake.
Yeah,
slithery little snake.
He's a viper, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So the New Day are singing his theme, and they're talking about how Randy used to be terrifying, like a Sphinx cat. When Idris and Malik come in, now, yes, Idris was wearing a top, but if you follow NXT Anonymous, they may have let the cat out the bag.
Really?
On Idris Enofe's tattoo.
What?
NXT Anonymous has gone too far. GTV, NXT TV, whatever you want to call it, has gone too far. They've cleared Idris. They showed that he's a fake. They showed him using a marker to make the tattoo.
Oh.
And he's not yet said this is before or after. Even on today's show, he's wearing the shirt. So he still could have the tattoo. I really hope it's not, but it definitely.
He should now just get it legit for real.
That'd be pretty funny, or like a fake one and wear it. So when you like get it when you take off your shirt. Finally, people.
I mean, it looks very much like Marker in this picture.
You can get someone to do like a fake tattoo for pretty cheap and pretty easily these days. So I mean, you know, like me and my girlfriend helped someone on their Halloween costume. They were trying to get these like fake tattoos, and they were like, "Oh, I was drawing with Sharpie, it didn't look good." So she helped him out. I'm like, "This looks almost real." He could do that and trick everybody. And then someone actually like takes something and like rubs it off when you finally gets exposed. But for right now, I'm gonna let the kayfabe live with Idris's tattoo on his chest of WWE logo. Why? Because we're together forever, always. I was backwards.
Now together forever.
Idris and Malik asked the New Day. I'm taking a long time to get through this. He says, "Hey, I want to know if we get a championship shot. Like, hey, what if next week, we could try to get it added to this match?" When the Schism walk in and they say, "Why do you guys deserve a title shot when we do?" So it's pretty much decided that next week there will be the New Day's tag team turmoil, and the winner of that will be added to the match at Vengeance Day. And then the two teams kind of get in each other's faces, and Xavier says, "All right, so next week, all right, what are you guys doing? What are you gonna fight next week? Why don't be like the Cranberries and let it linger? Get out of here." So then they do,
and then start singing voices. Yeah. Randy on.
The New Day are funny.
New Day are fun. It just feels like all of this is beneath them, so it's like, add more people to the match. Yeah. Fuck it. Like we'll defend in a 4-way instead of a 3-way. Yeah. Why not with the New Day? We'll just sing Randy and show up and have fun.
It'd be great. Randy should bring that look back when he returns. Maybe not. We go to, are you ready? The Barber Shop. Cut Whiz. I'm sure this is a real place. Anytime we mention the different Monopoly board places of NXT on the show, like that diner, we had a listener find the diner for us. So find Cut Whiz for us.
Cut Whiz.
We hear the music of the barbershop segments, the wrist, but it's not Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. It's Apollo Crews. Now remember, Apollo joked last week that he was going to go to the barbershop to get a fresh cut, and Trick was like, but you don't.
You're bold.
So Apollo is here. He does sit in the chair. And he says, "Hey, thanks for letting me in." And this barbershop guy, I forget his name, is like, "Yeah, you're fine to be here, but I mean, Mello and Trick really don't want you to be here." And then Apollo Crews just says, "Yeah, man, I'm not trying to cause any trouble." And then starts to explain to this barber about how he beat Carmelo Hayes. He lost to Carmelo Hayes, but on the third try, he knows like he can get it done, and he's better than Carmelo Hayes. This guy just goes to this guy's barber and starts telling him
it's pretty slimy, isn't it?
That's so dirty.
To do imagine if we fell out, and then
I find out who your barber is.
You kind of claimed my bar where I go to and just started hanging out there.
Yeah. I mean, that's happened in like relationships where like it was my bar to begin with. This was the place I go to. And then I start dating you. You go to the bar in association. Therefore, when we break up, you can't go to that. This is my bar. You can't do that. But
and it's not like Apollo even needed a haircut. He was just going to fuck with him, isn't he?
Yeah, this is Apollo Crews to me is given the worst things to do, and since coming back to NXT, this guy's angle is I'm gonna go shit talk him to his barber. So first he goes to the dine. First he sees things. He goes to the dine. This guy's just got no friends. I don't know. Why are you bitching about Mello to the guy's barber? The guy's like, yeah, sure.
I don't know. Man. He pays me well.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Fuck. And wouldn't you know it, Apollo is sitting in a chair, but Mello and Trick walk in, and Mello is pissed because Apollo's sitting in his barber chair. Trick then says, like, "What the hell? What are you doing here?" And this is when they start to have a conversation. And then there's like reactions from people in the barber shop watching them. Apollo says, like, "Hey, I beat you before, and I'm going to do it again, and I'm the one who's going to be the next champion." Mello says, "I'm the biggest and brightest star in your way. You've been close to getting what you want, but it doesn't matter." He says, "I'm just tougher and better than you are 5 years ago. You just want all this time back, but you can't get it." So that title is going to look good around my waist. When Apollo Crews nails Mello with this sick burn, and he says, yeah, the title would look good around your waist, but it would look better around mine, and then laughs at his own joke, and then it cuts to people going, ha ha! Yeah. That was the worst. What? Okay. That's when Trick goes, what the hell? Then he says, how about we cut and dry, Vengeance Day, Mello and Apollo, 2 out of 3 falls.
Nice.
And they kind of...
I think I called that last week.
You did. You said that it should go this route, which makes the most sense. And it's kind of apparent that the winner of this would become the number.
Will be the stand and deliver opponent, would think. Yeah, like I'm down for the match. I think the match will be great. And given time, do 2 out of 3 falls. This, I find it kind of funny, the whole like Apollo fucking with him, going to his barbers and stuff. But he needs better lines. Yeah. It's very much the classic babyface John Cena humor. And John Cena is one of the few that can just make it work, the corny stuff. But he just comes across very corny.
Because you shouldn't have had, with a line that was not even nearly damaging or fun. Like, well, it would look better on me.
It's and then it cuts going, you calling me ugly? Well, you're uglier. It's that kind of thing.
But
it's
then to have him laugh,
inventive.
Yeah, he laughs at his own joke, and then it cuts to these actors like laughing, who are usually on Mello's side. It's like, that would not be the way that went. If this guy walked into this guy's barbershop and then said that, they'd be like,
get out of
fuck out of here. Yeah. Shave your own damn head. Yeah. Go home. So weird that this was like, what is with the characters lately in the past few months of NXT going to each other's like other places that they hang out in? It's just kind of weird. So funny. I think though this match will probably be the show stealer. 2 out of 3 falls is definitely my favorite type. NXT is known for 2 out of 3 falls. Definitely looking forward to that one. We'll steal the show. But you know what? You as a bald guy, you can go into a barbershop. You can get your beard.
You can get beard trim and stuff.
Yeah, his beard. He's got top of the game beard. Apollo. We go to our next match, and it is Diamond Mine, the Creed brothers, going up against Drew Gulak and Hank Walker. Hank tags in and starts here with Julius and starts hitting some serious fast-looking arm drags. Very impressive. Julius starts to put the boots to him, and Hank is trying to fight back. When we go to commercial, when we come back, we get the Brutus smash here, where Brutus is just on top of Hank, just doing the Hulk smash here.
Clubbing.
Yeah, it looks great. Eventually, Julius is in and hits this like Shelton Benjamin style spin kick, where the guy catches your foot and you spin around, and then he hits the Shelton Benjamin style T-bone suplex, and then a standing moonsault, a standing shooting star when Brutus comes in and hits a standing moonsault just right afterwards. Very Steiner-esque, but it's only a near fall. Then Brutus does a butterfly lift up and just stalling and holding Hank up when Julius comes back in, and then they hit the kind of world's greatest thing.
Yeah, it was
on the
the
ropes.
leapfrog
Cool.
over their shoulders to slam him.
Looked cool, but still a kick out. Eventually, Hank comes back and hits this spin out kind of face buster move, and then a wheelbarrow into some sort of slam, almost like a Edge-O-Matic. But Julius kicks out of that again. There's then
it was the slam right into the armbar.
Wait, no, this was this
the wheelbarrow. Yeah.
There was some pretty impressive stuff from Hank here. There's then the Fujiwara armbar, but then eventually Julius gets out of it. When Charlie Dempsey walks ringside and Drew Gulak notices him and says, What are you doing here? What, you want to talk to me? Starts getting in his face when Hank's trying to tag him, and Gulak goes, hold on, I'm busy, and then starts to talk to Charlie, which then causes him to get hit with the Brutus bomb. And that's all over when Drew tries to get in there, but he's blocked, and the Creeds pick up the win.
Yeah, I thought I'd have liked to have seen a bit more of Gulak in there with the Creeds, just from a wrestling point of view. Yeah. But obviously, you're trying to give these younger guys time. Hank, I thought, was probably the most impressive he's looked here. I did think some of his moves looked quite nice. That transition into the armbar especially was nice. I just think for a guy of his size, his power moves look like a bit of a struggle compared to Julius, who's smaller than him, who's just like throwing people around. I think he needs to get better at those kind of big man spots because they didn't look too smooth, I didn't think. But yeah, this is again going back to the last thing. This is a babyface with a heel who is kind of
3 times in one show,
and we'll have it with Elektra, Lopez, and Valentina Feroz
4 times
as well. Like it's a lot. Oh, but that's bad what you're doing. But yeah, Gulak, go and take Hank and get some gear, please.
Yeah, I felt like the angle was Gulak was going to turn on Hank here, but I think they're just stretching this out unless Hank is still like, unless this is like what we joked about the Blackpool Combat Club, like how we're going to take someone and make them like a killer. But Hank is nowhere near it there. He still dresses like he's Seth Rogen and knocked up. So like, it's kind of weird.
But yeah, I need that Drew and Dempsey match down the line.
Drew Dempsey and then Drew and Dempsey versus the Creeds is money. No, Hank, no slouch though. We still stand.
No, he impressed today.
Yeah, absolutely. You do need, like, why can't that be a thing? Of all the different places in NXT, why can't a gear store, like you see Drew like taking him, like, look, we go here, we get singlets made, knee pads. Let's go. You don't just wear the shirts from Mark's Work Warehouse. We go to, Julius and Brutus win the match. They grab a microphone after the match, and then he cuts a promo and says, that victory felt good. He says, I know I could be an ass sometimes and I can be stubborn, but I want to thank you, Ivy, for riding with us and forcing us to be the best we can. When the crowd says, woo. He then says, we're feeling like the old Creeds again, which is a good thing when they're interrupted by Indi Sheer and Jinder Mahal. Jinder did make me laugh here. He goes, oh, the Creeds are feeling like the Creeds again. Good job. Like, wow, you guys are feeling like yourselves again. He then says, I'm the Maharaja, and I'm going to beat you guys up. You're nothing compared to us. And says, why don't you accept our challenge next week, Veer and Sangha versus the Creed brothers once and for all. Let's do it. So next week, it's official.
Sure, yeah, about time. This isn't like, it felt like this was being built up to be at Vengeance Day, so I wonder if we're going to have a 6-man with Roddy.
Let's go.
I hope so. I hope this leads somewhere because Jinder's got to be there for a reason.
Exactly.
I still just found it really weird because it was like they put out the challenge for next week, and the Creeds kind of look at Ivy, and she's like, "Yeah," gives them the go ahead. Yeah. This story hasn't made sense because it's been Ivy hasn't wanted the Creeds to fight with Sangha and Veer because they're bigger and stronger, and she thinks they should be focusing on the tag titles. And then they kept on, like the Sangha and Veer were stopping from these attacks and things like that because they wanted them at their 100%. They're then at their 100%, and Ivy's still going, nah, don't focus on them.
Yeah.
And then they just win a random match against Gulak and Hank Walker, and she's like, oh yeah, I guess you can fight them now. It hasn't made any sense.
It really hasn't. I wasn't sure where we were going. I figured they'd beat down on Julius and Brutus next week, and we get the return of Roderick Strong. I can only hope so. That maybe we get the 6-man at the pay-per-view, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to add any more matches.
It does seem pretty loaded already.
Stacked Vengeance Day. But yeah, hoping this is the lead to the return of Roddy. He's going to get out that wheelchair.
He's got to.
Yeah. We go to Gigi Dolan backstage with Gigi. She says, I heard what JC said about me earlier, but JC Jane is a bad person and I am nothing like her. She says, I may be a little dark sometimes. I may be a little twisted, but you see this? And Mackenzie says, yes, it's a rose. She says, well, every rose has thorns. I sang that at karaoke.
You did sing that at karaoke the other day.
Good song. Shout out Bret Michaels. Gigi then says, but the rose petals are beautiful and they don't hide the thorns. And that's how I am. So no matter what JC says, I'll give her a peace of mind and I'm going to beat her up at the pay-per-view. But they're still going to have to talk face-to-face later tonight. But yeah, you knew where this was going.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say, I think, get into it more in the last segment, but Gigi, who I'm not normally a fan of her promo, I thought she kind of stepped up tonight, especially in the last segment. I thought she sounded quite good.
Yeah.
And had some good lines.
We go to Wendy Choo, who makes her entrance, and Dude, I think she was in the ring for maybe 10 minutes because they go to commercial break, which is a few minutes, more John Cena commercials. But when we come back, it's Tony D'Angelo and Stacks going to have a nice family dinner with each other to discuss business. Love this. The music is playing. They're in an Italian restaurant. It looks like it's shot by people from Full Sail.
What's with all these places, these bars? Gallus are going to be in a bar later. We've seen Brooks and Jensen
At Fallon's bar.
in the Fallon's bar. This restaurant, no one's ever there.
Yeah.
They're always completely empty.
It makes sense for Tony because he wants to go and,
Yeah, but you
quiet
like
hours.
hear all the like background noise.
Oh,
And
yeah,
there's
okay.
like no extras. Okay, these might have been in like a private back
Yeah,
room,
yeah.
but I don't know. Shoot some extras who you're walking past, just so I don't feel like this is
right.
just this empty restaurant.
Yeah.
This set that they built. It's yeah.
I mean, it is a real restaurant they're at here. Like, this looked like a real one that they're at, right? Was it? I don't know.
They could have just curtained off a room and put some chairs on the table.
Yeah, they just shoot the exterior and
Yeah.
go ahead like a sitcom. Tony says, "Hey Stacks, good for you. You're already, look at you, the underboss. You're making orders." He says, "You even ordered those cannolis for that person. Like, look at you. Look, wow, the cannolis. Wow." He says, "The streets are talking about the underboss." You think the streets are talking about the underboss?
Oh wait, Stacks always.
The Orlando streets are talking
Orlando
about
streets
You think the Italian mom has like the streets covered in Orlando?
everywhere.
Worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worldwide mob.
Mob's like Disney too. The mob likes Disney too, right?
Yeah. You think the mob are sad that Splash Mountain's shutting down?
Is it?
I don't know. I saw that people were lining up for rides because they're going to be closing soon. So people are freaking out and going.
Splash Mountain's closing? I know they changed
Don't
it
quote me on
from
Think the
Song of the
mob's
South
pissed.
to Princess and the Frog,
Yeah.
right?
What?
They changed the ride.
Yeah.
But it's still Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
Is it closing?
Maybe Jimmy Hoffa will come out of hiding because he's trying to ride Splash Mountain. We'll catch him.
Who?
Don't worry about it. We go to the back to this restaurant, and well, they're talking about how he's the underboss.
they've just closed it to redesign it to make it the Princess and the Frog for next year.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta go to that Nintendo world.
Mm.
Tony D'Angelo says, "Stacks, you are the underboss, and well, the first act is the most important act, and we need to make these things right. And now you're my equal." So like now he's treating him like his tag team partner, less than like his lackey, and says, we got to make moves. And Stacks says, "I'm gonna make moves. I plan on taking on the biggest guy that I can find." And he's like, "Oh, okay, that's a lot of work, but okay." He says, "Don't worry, I got some ideas." When the server shows up and says, "Hey guys, you're all set. Thanks for having a good night." And Tony's like, "Whoa, Stacks, you set all this up?" And Stacks says, "Yeah, don't worry about it." And they say AJ sends his love. So
AJ Galante.
they're still playing on AJ Galante, that hockey guy.
Now, I thought when they said about doing like something big, and this waiter comes in, who's a
I thought he was
big
gonna.
guy. I thought he was just gonna like shank him on the table.
Me too. Yeah. I thought so too.
I don't know if that was a little tease, but like, yeah.
Really weird. Then he says, "All right, well, cheers to the new underboss," and then they cheers with some nice red wine.
I am enjoying these two, and I can't wait till the day when the underboss becomes the Don.
Tag team championship is where they're gonna go for. I see down the line,
These
like
two?
being a tag team
Yeah,
is what they're gonna go
think so.
with. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, these things are always funny. They're so ridiculous, but mafia and wrestling, why not? Well, Wendy Choo's been waiting. You think they showed that video in the screen, and she's just like, man, at least it makes sense for her character because here she is with a pillow in between the ropes sleeping.
And just sleep.
She's having a nap. So Wendy Choo's going up against Elektra Lopez here. We get an insert video. If you've been following, Elektra Lopez has been talking to Valentina Feroz about how Feroz about how, maybe if you listen to me and you don't worry about friends and all that, you'll win matches, maybe you'll make money, maybe stick with me kind of thing, which we've definitely been interested in. Like, okay, that could go places. So when this match starts off, Valentina just kind of already walks down to the ring to kind of watch this match.
No smiley dancey Valentina.
No.
She looked conflicted and very serious here.
Elektra's putting the boots to Wendy Choo, and then when they're kind of brawling around ringside, She grabs Wendy's pillow and swings it to throw it at Wendy, but Wendy ducks. So the pillow flies and hits Booker T. And Booker's goes down, and Vic says, "Oh my goodness, Book, do we need medical?" And he's like, "I'm good." He laughs it off.
It's funny though, because we've seen those times where Book you can tell he's like legit mad about something, and I'm sure this he wasn't overly happy about it.
Yeah,
because the commentary continues, and Vic's like, "Are you good, Book?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's like,
fine,
okay, all right.
Hit with the pillow. Elektra gets Wendy back in the ring and hits this spin out sidewalk slam Uranagi thing for a near fall, and then goes to bounce Wendy across the top of the ropes there. When she goes to grab brass knuckles, but as she's grabbing these brass knuckles, Fyre's on the outside. Now you could view this two different ways, which I think they purposely did. It looks as if she's trying to tell the referee something. So therefore, she's distracting the referee. So Elektra can nail Wendy Choo when she's doing her crazy handspring right into the brass knuck shot. That looked pretty cool. Or was Fyre's basically saying, "Ref, look, she's got brass knucks," because that's what she was saying.
I think so, but Wendy might not see it that way.
Right. So Fyre's causes the distraction, allowing Elektra to pin Wendy Choo here and get the win.
Yeah, I thought Elektra had Wendy Choo. We know can wrestle. The gimmick is silly, but we know she can go. Elektra is someone who I've kind of found the opposite. I thought she had a real presence with Legado. She does now. Even on her own, her looks great. She's definitely got this presence about her, and her promos and stuff. She I think she stands out, but then the bell rings and the matches haven't been too great. And I'm not saying this was a 5-star technical classic or anything, but I do think I noticed improvement in her. I thought that gut wrench suplex she did was really nice. That kind of spinning Uranagi, similar to Tiffany earlier. She wasn't afraid to throw in some stiff looking forearms and that kind of thing. So I think she's stepped up, and I can see her in that kind of wrestler manager kind of role, and pairing her up with someone else like Valentina. It's good for Valentina because I think she's someone we've always liked from day one. She's shown she's pretty good in the ring. She's quite fun, got a infectious personality, but you feel might be pushed to the side once her tag team partner was out and Sang left and that kind of thing. So I'm glad she's being featured too.
Yeah, look, NXT is so full of B characters and C characters that disappear and get forgotten about and stuff like that. So it is interesting when they kind of stick with one person and go with it. And Valentina, you said, we've been whoa, she's come out and been super smiley and wearing the crazy costumes and showing some really good wrestling. But now you have my interest because you're whoa, are you going to turn heel? Because characters get way more interesting when they do that. But right now they're still teasing. When they come back from commercial break, Fyre catches up with Elektra and says, "What was that? What are you doing?" She says, I don't do things like that, Elektra. I don't play like that. And I can't believe you did that. Wendy Choo is my friend." And Elektra says, "Yeah, well, friends, you can keep your friends. I'll keep on winning." Says no one else is going to do it for you.
Dirty gets the job done.
Exactly. If you're asking me, Valentina joins forces with Elektra, and I already can see she's dressing a little different. I like it.
Yeah. She's going to use the hammer at some point. The brass knucks.
The brass knucks. Yeah.
Again, it's a lot of the same stories across the board.
Are they heel?
Yeah.
Are they really their friend? I don't know. Fallon, Briggs, and Jensen are backstage. I have in my notes, Jensen's mullet is lit. They mentioned that they're happy that Fallon and Kiana got the win. And Jensen says he went to Shawn Michaels' office and got you guys a Vengeance Day title shot for the women's tag titles. Whoever wins it later tonight, you guys are going to face at Vengeance Day if you want it, Fallon. And she says, "What? How could you do this without asking me?" And they're like, "Well, we got you a tag title match."
She felt blindsided.
Blindsided here, guys. Have a title match, maybe, possibly. I don't know. I'll have to think about it, she says. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a weird reaction, but
we'll We'll see.
She wants to be a singles star, I guess.
Yeah.
But she comes around by the end.
Yeah. Mackenzie Mitchell is backstage with Stevie
Turner.
Mackenzie's supposed to have an interview with Stevie Turner, but Mackenzie says it looks like Stevie no-showed. When the screen changes from the NXT backdrop into stream starting, and we are live. Stevie Turner is here, and she says, I'm on the set, and Mackenzie's like, oh, I guess I thought you were doing this in person. She's like, I am in person. I'm on the stream. I'm here. So Mackenzie says, okay, I have a few questions I want to ask you. And Stevie says, hold on, let's go to our super chat. Stevie chats. Shout out our super chats. And she says, someone's asked, when are you going to get in the ring? And Stevie says, next week. I'm going to have my debut here in NXT. And says, don't worry, I'll go to another question, Mackenzie, and says, who do you want to face here in NXT? And Stevie says, well, I don't know if Roxanne's going to be holding the title past Vengeance Day, but whoever is champion, I want to face them. So basically, healing it up.
Good. Yeah, good. Because this character is not likable. So absolutely. She also, like, at the end of the stream said, oh, I hear Grayson Waller's music. Waller does his like Instagram lives and stuff. It's a similar kind of character. So kind of her kind of being almost indicating she likes him.
Right.
So definitely putting her in the heel role.
Wow.
I don't like this character. I find it quite cheesy, but I do think this is a step in the right direction. Poor Mackenzie, just everyone's mugging her off every week.
One day Mackenzie's just gonna
flip,
lose it.
Yeah.
Michael Douglas out the car now for sure. I think the streaming, as soon as she started like being mean, I was like, oh, that makes way more sense. Because look, she's doing what we do every week. We stream online. It's not the most like connecting to wrestlers. I've mentioned I watch WoW, Women of Wrestling. There is someone who's got this similar gimmick, but they've never done it like this. And they also try to be a good guy. I think it works way better when they're trying to be this like, I want her to go further, like get deep into it. I need her to start talking about Discord. I need to start talking about how she drinks Monster energy drinks and all. I don't know what other gamers do these days. Stuff like that.
It should be if that top dollar dive was on NXT, it would be that kind of thing.
Like
her
making
just
fun of
replaying it and like talking about the.
I think that would be a completely bad idea for NXT because you would have multiple things from each show to do. That's why we have this show. But like, it's funny that like she's a bad guy. I'm more interested in that way. We go to Grayson Waller, who comes out making his entrance, rocking a fur pink jacket. He's like Drake dressing like Killa Cam this week at his show. There was Killa Cam is a Cameron is famous for wearing pink furry everything essentially. And this week was brought out at a show where Drake then dressed in all pink. So I think Grayson Waller may be a fan and was on topic this week with this. I think it's a great look. I do think a fur pink, if you rock it, like it looks good. You got it. The trick is, I know it's Florida, but the trick is you got to wear like the pink Tims to match it. But Grayson starts off his promo like, hey, Braun, where are you at? Look, I'm wearing a fur coat, but no steel plate this time.
Yeah,
which is pretty funny. He says just this, though, and reveals he's wearing an NXT championship because he says, I'm just as much the champ as you are because we both didn't win that match when we fought. He says, Braun, why don't you get out here? I bet you're scared, though. Everyone keeps saying Braun is going to tear me up in the cage and that I should be scared, but it's Braun who should be scared to get in a cage with me. So come on, Braun, where are you? Let that dog out, Braun, come on. And then it cuts to Braun doing the Goldberg backstage. And everyone's like, whoa, Braun, what are you doing? Stop it. And he makes his entrance. He makes his way down the ramp, but pretty much the whole roster is here to stop him. And then we get this whole pull apart where they're trying to get at each other. The pink fur jacket comes off. They're fighting. When they're trying to pull Braun back, he pushes a bunch of dudes off and runs towards Grayson. But as Grayson sideswipes, Braun goes headfirst into one of the side like guardrail barricade things, but he just goes through it like it's like wood or something and is like laid out, is unconscious essentially. So Grayson kind of leaving with the upper hand this week.
Always getting one up on him.
Yeah.
It seems. Yeah. I didn't mind this. I think it's a little jarring when we see this barricade spot a lot and we know they're not made of wood. But I actually thought it was done pretty well. Like if I didn't see that barricade spot all the time and I didn't know that they're made like what we normally see they're made of, it wouldn't be as jarring. Because I did think this spot looked pretty good and was timed pretty well. They went head first through this thing pretty much.
The visual looked great.
It looked cool. Yeah.
Again, I've definitely been feeling this storyline way more. This is the way it kind of should be, where he's tricking him to get aggressive. It's silly that everyone's like, whoa, because like how many times has he come out to try to fight people before when they didn't give a shit? So it is kind of backwards, but it's wrestling. So I'm for that. That's all you need to do is get the heel to keep getting the best of this guy. Yeah. To finally, when he gets his hands on him, he's going to eat him. Yeah. So can't wait for this. I keep forgetting it's a steel cage when they reminded me, and then I'm like, that should be cool.
Which I think will work for it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I like the visual. Grayson Waller healing it up. I can't believe I'm becoming a Grayson Waller fan, but he's doing the right things to make you get upset at him. So
I think so.
That's effective heel work in my books. We go to Gallus lads, the Gallus boys.
Not Fallon's bar.
They're at a bar.
A bar.
You think the
another
Gallus,
empty bar?
You think the Gallus are getting ready for Burns night tomorrow night?
It is Burns.
It's Burns night tomorrow night. Happy
Burns
night,
Burns,
everyone! Wow. Gallus is at a bar and they're playing pool, and I have no idea what they said in this promo. I think it was English. They say that they're trying to keep their eyes on the prize as they're shooting some pool here, and they say that they're stuck here in America drinking this watered down beer as they continue to drink it out of metal cups, which I don't know why the bar would serve you your beer in that.
Like a tankard?
It was like a small Moscow Mule mug.
No, these are proper beer tankards.
Okay.
Yeah, and you often like some old pubs would have like your own personal ones. So it'd be like, oh, I want my one.
Maybe they brought it from Scotland.
It's like definitely in parts of Europe. It's
so they brought them. I assume they brought them from there, or maybe they found a Scottish pub in Orlando.
I think when my brother turned 18, we got him like a metal beer mug, like engraved and everything.
You leave it at certain bars?
Yeah, like that's your cup.
Wow.
That's what you have.
That sounds like such a little kid thing to do, like what your parents would like.
I mean, he didn't do it. It's it's there as a display thing, but that's like the thing. There are these, when I was touring in Austria and Germany, you'd have these old like proper like German beer halls with basically like
jerseys in the rafters,
like coat pegs, but for your beer thing.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
wow. Well, Gallus, we should get some solid steel. Yeah, they were getting tankered here at this pub, and they say they're going to win the tag team. I think they said that to be. I don't.
The Gallus boys are on top.
I think they said that. Yeah, they end with that. I can always understand that. The Gallus boys.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys don't really do it for me, to be honest.
No, they even changed their music. What do I even like? I'm still going to celebrate Burns Night in honor of them, but
in honor of them,
no, just
in honor of our Loch Ness.
Yeah. We go to Alba Fire, who's definitely celebrating Burns night tomorrow night. Fire, right? Alba Fire is going 1-on-2 against the NXT Women's Tag Champs, Katana Chance and Kayden Carter. She does not have a partner for this match. When she's about to take them both on, when Soul Ruca shows up and says, I got your back. So this match starts off. We've seen them have a little bit of a riff while she's been having riffs with everybody. So Soul now here stepping up like, yeah, you want me to step up? I'll be your partner here tonight. So we get Fyre who's in, and Katana and Kayden are kind of running circles around her. So she tags in Soul, who then shows up here. There's like all these crazy escapes, how she can do those like handstand to get out of moves and stuff. It's very impressive. During picture-in-picture, we see Katana start coming back on Soul. There's a huge seated senton for a near fall. They then hit, when we come back, an electric chair splash combo on Alba Fire for a near fall. And then Soul is tagged back in, and she's just hitting all sorts of crazy moves. This huge springboard splash, which looked pretty nice.
She got so much height on this. It looked really nice.
Eventually, though, it's Alba who like gets taken out ringside. So Soul is left alone, and she's hit with that 450 neck breaker for the win. And the tag champs retain, but Alba Fire is then after like pissed off that Soul like
didn't
lost
ask for help.
I didn't ask you to be my
She's
partner.
mad
And you were the
wanted
one
to go out on her own.
Yeah. So as she walks off, the witch is there. That witch. What's her name again?
Isla
Dawn. She's just there laughing. I don't know. She's just laughing.
It's what bad people do in wrestling. You just laugh.
Like an evil cackle witch. I love Isla Dawn, actually. I don't know what she found so funny, but she found it funny that Alba lost here. And Soul is just kind of like, okay, cool.
I would say I wouldn't say there was a match that really blew me away at all this week. I thought this was a weaker show. I know we haven't finished yet, but this is the last of the matches on tonight's show. But I would say in all of them, the kind of rookies I saw improvement from. I thought Ruca, who does these flashy moves, but often we've said it's like it's the kind of connective tissue, and that's very much what Katana Chance had for a while. She could do all these like American Ninja Warrior stuff, but the flow of the match never felt right. And I thought Soul had a bit more flow here. I thought she looked really impressive, and I would say the same with like Hank Walker. I thought he stepped up tonight. I thought Elektra Lopez stepped up tonight. So no, I'm not going to recommend any matches of these on this show to like go out and watch if you haven't watched the show. But I saw improvements from some people.
Soul Ruca, man, like since you're bringing in a surfer gimmick. Okay, cool. We've had sillier ones on NXT so far. That one sounds a lot more up my alley. I like Point Break. Okay. I see what she looks like. I'm like, okay, no, she's in crazy shape to be able to do handstands and walk around. I think everyone she caught everyone's attention when she hit that move. That looks crazy, which apparently she calls the Soul Snatcher.
Okay.
It's all right. The Wave Runner. I think it's still pretty cool. It's cool. What if she teamed with Alba Fire? What if they won? They could have been Soul Fire, Fire Soul.
Yeah.
Fire
Wave.
and
Desire.
Yeah. I think she's great, and I've been saying it already. She should be one of the NXT stars to show up in the Royal Rumble. Just do the same spot, and even more people will be talking about you. But yeah, Soul Ruca is definitely one to watch. I've been loving that thing. I almost want her to embrace the surfer a bit more. Like I want to just do the standing on someone.
No, I think we're okay. I think we're good. We'll then get Wendy Choo again.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe I shouldn't be asking for that. But you're right. You know what? A lot of the there wasn't the most wrestling on this show, but it showed glimpses of some of the like future stars that they've been working on. So yeah, we go to a video for Dijak, and he's obsessed with Justice and Wes. So Wes meets him in his dark, like Law and Order.
Okay, this is parts unknown, isn't it? We don't.
Where is this?
This isn't a diner. This isn't a restaurant. This isn't a bar. This is just
Sin City.
Dijak's like film noir.
So weird. So it's a dark room. He's at a desk and he's wearing sunglasses inside. I don't judge him on that. Sometimes, you got to, but in dark Sin City film noir thing, it's kind of weird. So Wes walks in and Dijak's writing in a little like cop journal, like, oh, sorry, let me put that away quickly. It's like, sorry, what are you alone in this room anyways? Wes says, oh, I'm here. And Dijak says, I'm surprised that you actually had the balls to show up. And Wes should have said, Wes says like, yeah, I have the balls because I've been champion, but I really wanted him to make fun of him for his little journal. He says, I've made decisions to be champion and I've overcome everything that's been put in front of me, including everyone. And you'll just be another one on that list. Dijak says, you're pretty much stupid if you think you're going to beat me. And Wes gets a little angry and says, yeah, well, come Vengeance Day, protect your neck. I'll see you in Charlotte. And Dijak ends with, well, unfortunately, I deal with justice.
He says, I don't deal with sob stories.
I deal with justice.
And then I'm pretty sure Vic said, Dijak will be going for the title that's eluded him his entire career. This man hasn't even won the 24/7 championship in WWE. He has not held any gold in WWE at all. So I don't know why they go the one title that's eluded him his entire career.
I mean, like, I know what he's trying to say is he didn't want to say, remember when he fought with Keith Lee and couldn't get the title or something like that, right? But yeah, the one title this guy couldn't get. It's this one. Man, I don't know what this character is.
Justice thing is,
dude, I'm sure the match will be great, but like, what the hell was this? So funny.
Yeah, I think the match will be really good. But yeah, this character, man, it's not it.
Look, in wrestling, everyone's got to have like some weird side character. They decided to go with Big Boss Man Sin City Terminator with Dijak.
I'm just genuinely curious where he is. Because, if you want to find Mello, you go to the barbershop. If you want to find Apollo, you go to the diner. If you want to find Bron, you go to the lake. Like, we know all these things. Wes just found him. It's like, oh, I got to go to that creepy corner.
It looks like a police station. I don't know. It's really strange. You would almost just make him a cop. It'd be way easier to just go, look, everyone at NXT has side jobs because they don't pay as good as main roster, so I'm a cop now.
Yeah.
Serve hard justice.
Yeah.
And parking tickets in the parking lot. Stop all these fights. He could have caused a stop. He could have solved a crime later on. We see Cora Jade is back. Sorry, Wes and Dijak, I'm sure will have a great match that hopefully will be like, whoa, check this out. But this story is like so silly that I really it's just yikes. Cora Jade is with Mackenzie. She's being interviewed, and Cora says that Lyra Valkyria needs to learn her place here in NXT, and her stupid bird brain, she needs to stay out of my business. When she's like going into her own locker, and Cora's like, why is there feathers? And what did I just say about everyone in NXT's got this weird side? Like, sorry, the bird lady who gets called the bird lady leaves feathers.
She marks you with a feather, means you're next.
Thank God Vic Joseph goes, Mackenzie, fuck this interview. This has gone too far. There's feathers. We need to go to the parking lot. And Mackenzie's like, sorry, Cora Jade, who's pissed. Like, what are you talking about? As they throw to the parking lot. Now, if you know anything about NXT in the parking lot, it is probably the most dangerous place in the world of professional wrestling. Another victim.
Attack.
Yeah. We see Nikkita Lyons, who's been just not laid out, but she's on the ground in the parking lot screaming. Now, the cameraman here who's going to find her walks by like a million random people who are just walking by, not giving a fuck that Nikkita is down. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Everyone's just walking. That's a shame.
Wrestling.
Just walking around, having a great time. When Indi is there, like, oh, are you okay? And I think Valkyria is here. And she's like, are you okay? And she's like, what happened? She's like, I don't know.
How do these people never see their attacks?
How do you not know?
Everyone in... Like, I assume it's Zoe Stark, right?
So she's got, like, I assume she got hit by a car? Is that what, like, we're going with?
No, I think I hit by a car.
She's like, I couldn't see them come. But she's in the middle of the road on the ground. So, like, I don't know.
I think just jumped.
Oh, man, poor Nikkita. But yeah, Nikkita. I mean, really, it's probably Sol Ruca. She stole your push. I don't know. I guess it's Zoe Stark.
I assume it's Zoe. They've been feuding.
Yeah.
I did enjoy this week, Mackenzie. So she went to the locker room to interview Cora because she's like, you didn't show up on set.
Yeah.
And I'm just picturing Mackenzie just walking around backstage with a mic, like just trying to get an interview with anyone. And everyone's just mean to her.
Mackenzie's going to quit. Yeah. Well, we're going to have to find out next week on who took out Nikkita, possibly with a car. We're not quite sure. But we go to Chase backstage. It's Andre Chase and Thea when Duke walks in, and Andre is pissed and says, Duke, where the F did you go? And Duke says, look, Andre, Professor Chase, you always told me that we could do things on our own. And I thought that's what you needed to do. So I left you to do it. But I then went to talk to Shawn Michaels. He says, you went to talk to Shawn? And I asked Shawn for a chance to be in the tag team gauntlet next week to be entered into the pay-per-view. And he says, you did that? What did Shawn say? Well, Shawn said that I had to go talk to the New Day. Okay. What did they say? Well, I went to talk to the New Day. He basically strings it out for a long time to finally say,
New Day like the architecture of the Chase U building, which I found quite funny.
The New Day are big fans of the architecture of the Chase University. He says we are in, and next week Duke and Andre Chase are going to team up together. Wow,
nice.
It'd be crazy.
So it's Dyad versus Idris and Malik versus Duke and Chase.
I would rather all of these teams be in the match than Gallus.
Me too. I like all three of these teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I thought these two work off each other really well. I thought the comedic timing here was pretty funny with Duke. He's definitely found his role. This time,
absolutely.
And it's very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want about the Bloodline storyline, but like,
I want them I want them at Vengeance Day.
Win the titles.
I think it'll be Idris and Malik.
Yeah, me too.
I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah. We then go to our championship summit. Forgot this was technically our main event here. Booker T hosting it in the middle of the ring. He's got Gigi and JC, no entrance, Toxic Attraction here. They're sitting on both sides of this table when he introduces Roxanne Perez. Forget how much of a banger Roxanne Perez's music is. Kind of like it. It's kind of like AJ Lee's theme.
Okay.
Something.
Nice.
So Roxanne sits down and Gigi says, I'm going to start off by telling JC that she's stupid and everything she says is probably a pun. JC says, yeah, well, I carried your ass for so long. And if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be here. You'd probably just be some other YouTube sensation. Wasn't really the best diss.
No. No, she was bringing up she was nothing before Toxic Attraction because all she was known for were those spots on the indies that went viral on YouTube.
Yeah. Still, but
which is what she was known for. Like people knew Priscilla Kelly from the weird stuff, and it's like people aren't talking about that anymore.
This is true.
It's a Toxic.
She then says that Gigi then says, yeah, well, I know things that only I know that you've told me in the past, like the fact that you get so nervous and anxious that you puke before every match. In fact, we have a bucket with your name on it in Gorilla for JC. And she's like, no, I don't. And she's like, everything you say is a lie. So they're just going back and forth and yelling at each other.
Who's going to be holding your hair up when I'm holding the NXT title? I like that line.
So Roxanne's just like laughing in between them. Booker T is like laughing as well. Booker's acting as if everything these women have said to each other is like some like ruthless shit. He's going, oh, and then he finally steps in and goes, shucky ducky, quack, quack. He's just told to just go over the top, Book. He's really not a fair moderator considering Roxanne, the champ. But Roxanne finally says, you know what, though? It's great watching you two. I need popcorn to watch you two fight each other. I could watch this all day. She says, Karma is a toxic bitch. She should have said you, and you both are too. Gigi says, JC, when you were with me in Toxic Attraction, you were just the third wheel. And in the match, you're going to be the third wheel too. And then they stare at each other. They're about to beat each other up when they attack Roxanne in unison. They beat her up and they power bomb her through a table. Booker didn't save her. And then they both hold up the NXT Women's Championship as NXT goes off the air. Wow, I did not see this coming.
They needed to get something back because they looked awful last week when they, lost in the tag match against one person.
I didn't think they looked that great here. They didn't even get entrances.
No, but storyline wise, they needed entrances, whatever. Like there's only so much time in the show. But I did think Gigi sounded good here. I thought she really stepped up here. I'm not into this match at all. I'm glad they haven't split them up because I think they should move up as a tag team. But I guess they needed to give them something because they've just looked like absolute jokes in this feud so far.
They did still I know that they're standing tall, but we saw this coming from a mile away that this was what they were going to do. It just felt kind of weird that then they're just riffing on each other only to then do that. It didn't do too much for me. I'm still not interested into this match, but yeah. But you know what? Vengeance Day, it does have some matches on it. Like I mentioned, Wes and Dijak are definitely going to put on a great match. You know what? I'm even looking forward to Braun and Grayson Waller in the cage. But I will say when it comes to Apollo Crews and Hayes being added with that 2 out of 3 falls, that sounds like it's got my attention.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm sure the tag will be fun as well.
The 4-way. So Yeah. You see them adding anything else to that pay-per-view?
Well, you got 6 there. No, I think that's it.
Yeah, we were thinking of the Roddy Diamond Mine, but I don't think they would add that. So
maybe, yeah. They haven't really broken this 5-6 match structure much, but maybe being a big kind of standalone, like non-main roster pay-per-view weekend, they might decide to add one more thing on it.
Well, that was NXT from Tuesday, January 24th. That's what we thought. I did think, I should give more thoughts because it was an okay episode. It didn't really hit with some of the wrestling, like you said earlier. Like, it was so much talking. And I mentioned I did watch Raw yesterday. I felt like that was so much talking when I'm like, man, I thought I watched wrestling. I want to see a bit more of that on my shows. I understand they got a pay-per-view to build to, so I'm not too mad about that because I'll give them a positivity. The Waller segment and teasing that feud, it actually is working when it comes to just talking and stuff. So there was a lot more negative on this show, but it didn't necessarily piss me off.
Yeah, this is middle of the road for me. I don't think anything was outstanding, but nothing was particularly offensively bad either. It was just kind of there. I think Takeover's looking in an all right position.
It's not a takeover.
Sorry, not a takeover, a PLE.
As we go to a super chat from Jake, he says, would either of you be interested in attending any of these NXT era PLEs in person at all, or is it just not the same aura as the old takeovers? I'll answer because I just kind of did. Yeah, no, not really. Like, if they said, you know what, NXT's coming to Toronto,
sure, yeah. Like, if I'm in, like, I would. I've never traveled solely to go to a takeover in the past. It's always been a weekender.
Right.
I don't see why I wouldn't go if I'm saying I'm not doing Mania this year, but say Philly next year. Like, I'd go to see the takeover, and certainly if they were in Toronto. But I'm not necessarily booking flights to Charlotte to go to one of these events.
Yeah, like, I'm still not this card. I'm sure we'll have some great matches, but it's still nowhere near the hype that it once was. It's a completely different animal to me still. Well. Yeah.
And we got another super chat from Robert Pearson, who says, hey, mates, fun fact. When I trained at Team 3D Academy, Lacey was gearing up for her WWE tryout. I was only there for 2 months, but got to train with Jess Carr, Kayden Carter, and Trisha Dora too.
I don't know which Lacey he's referring to. Lacey Evans?
Lacey
maybe?
Evans, I guess. So.
Yeah. Interesting. I forgot that Robert was trying to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
That's wild. He would be a good manager.
You think?
Yeah, he looks like Chris Pratt, so he would make a good on-screen anything.
He's too likable. Managers are normally unlikable.
He could be like I don't know. He's nice though. He's
interviewer.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what I mean.
Backstage interviewer. Yeah.
We also have some feedback here. If you join the Poisonrana Facebook group, it's a private group, but we'll let you in. We share memes and stuff, including feedback for these shows. I'm going to read the first one here from Fyre Frank, who writes in, New Day singing Orton's themes was a true highlight. The women of NXT got a big spotlight tonight, and kudos they showed out, especially Sol Ruca and Tiffany. Her hitting a best moonsault ever popped me. I'm glad Ivy and the Creeds have made peace, as well as Fallon and Kiana and G. For now, at least. The burning question is, why did Apollo go to the barbershop? His beard is looking nearly trimmed already. Also, has nobody learned not to walk through the NXT parking lot alone? I'm also a sad Booker didn't get to finish his question at the end. He seemed very upset.
Oh,
shucky ducky quack quack.
We go to Magan, who says, babyfaces falling victim to a ruse is a trope that needs to go. The Championship Summit reeked of a setup with Gigi and JC's dueling promos earlier in the night. TA stands can sleep easier knowing they're still together. Oh, Toxic Attraction stands. That they're still together, but for how long? Spoiler, as soon as next Saturday, Roxanne's retaining. The Crew's mellow barbership skit was good. Bald men can get a beard line up. I'm proud of my Sean scalp. And their 2 out of 3 falls match is going to steal Vengeance Day guaranteed. Overall, tonight's NXT feels like a total rebuttal to Raw's 30th, having little women's wrestling, but putting them on almost the whole show from start to finish. Are Alba and Isla going to join forces? Somehow HBK has figured it out.
Yeah, we go to Sean, who writes in, awesome show tonight with the women's division getting a big spotlight and the build to Vengeance Day entering high gear. There was a lot going on, but everything was well balanced. And more importantly, there is a definite sense that everything is building to something build for Waller Breaker 2 almost hit another level with brawls off TV and on TV, making this feel much more personable and making Waller feel more like a threat. Same with Gigi and JC. The summit may not have been the most original bit of business, but it was still well executed, all involved. The wrestling tonight was also good, and the card for Vengeance Day is really coming together. Can't wait to see what happens next week.
And Glenn didn't think Gallus said anything in English. There we go.
So I wasn't alone there. No. Yeah, right. Well, on that note, happy Burns Night. Any Scottish people out there that we didn't offend, and happy Lunar New Year, happy everything to you people. That was NXT. That's what we thought. We will be doing a Vengeance Day review in a few weeks. I know this weekend is the Rumble, so tune in every Sunday. We go live over on our Poisonrana feed on our YouTube, and then the pod is dropped. We'll be talking all about the Rumble, but the following Sunday at 2 p.m. will be our Vengeance Day post show right here on the post feed. So there you go. Get ready for the 2 weeks of some wrestling chats on Sundays. There you go. So that was our NXT review, guys. Thanks so much for checking us out. Like I said, Poisonrana.ca for all the updates on all the other stuff that we got going on, including our socials, our Patreon, our everything. We do so many podcasts. We have been celebrating Japanuary over on our Patreon, meaning we did a show covering the WWF New Japan All Japan Wrestling Summit. We've done best match ever with the Great Muta with WH Park. We're doing a review tomorrow of Battle Royale, a 2000 movie from Japan. If you haven't seen it, oh boy, you should. It's a cult classic about kids on an island with weapons and violence. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to be reviewing that. So Japanuary is in full swing.
And then every Friday on our free feed, so do subscribe to the Poisonrana feed, we've got a rotating bonus show. So last week we had What Up Doe with John Cena and B Detroit talking all things like hip hop in wrestling. They were going through the Grammy nominations in rap, talking about video games, kind of all further pop culture stuff that we don't always cover in the wrestling shows. And then this week we're going to be re-releasing one of our Patreon shows, Best Match Ever, Io Shirai, where we were joined with Karen Peterson to talk solely about Io's Stardom run. And we'll be putting that out with links to matches, etc. This was a great chat we had a couple of months ago, so really looking forward to you all being able to hear this one.
Yeah, it's going on the free feed there. So go follow us over on our journey with Poisonrana for all the other podcasts. There's free ones. There's ones on the Patreon. There's so many podcasts.
Shot in the Dark coming out on Thursday.
Hell yeah.
Cena covering everything you might have missed in wrestling in the last week.
Yes. So
15 minutes.
Lots and lots of podcasts, and we can't do this without all our listeners, new and old. Thank you. We'll see you when we see you. Follow all the socials. We got the Kevin Bennett interview dropping sometime tomorrow night. So many things going on at Poisonrana Pod, Twitter and Instagram. Hey, you probably have Instagram. We have a new Instagram. Go follow it at Poisonrana Pod. We post some funny stories, and once they're gone, you miss them. So, you got to. I myself, Braden Harrington. I'm on Twitter, Instagram at the Brady.
And you can find me at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And
ahoy!